is a presentation for state directors and event supervisors regarding the National Science Olympiad Reach for the Stars event for 2016. This is specifically oriented towards maybe new state directors or new event supervisors. If you haven't done this before, you've been asked to be an event supervisor, you're not exactly sure how to go about it, and you need a few helpful hints and clues as to how to progress in constructing and running the event, and for state supervisors and tournament supervisors to get a feel for the kind of logistics that are involved in running this particular event. The Reach for the Stars event for National Science Olympiad is sponsored by the NASA Astrophysics Division, and the Chandra NASA mission, chandra.harvard.edu, records every year a webinar for astronomy and for Reach for the Stars, and is posted on their website. These are available to you. This slide is a screen capture of the webinar posting for 2013, because I do not have a snapshot yet for the 2016 Reach for the Stars webinar, but it is posted. It's there for you to look at if you want to. The webinars are constructed for teams, so they concentrate on the content and the resources for the event. But the 2013 event was Reach for the Stars, and then it went to Solar System for the past 2 years, and now we're back to Reach for the Stars again, so the content will be very, very similar. So the Reach for the Stars event and event description is in the rules manual distributed from National Science Olympiad to the state directors once they register the teams in their state for competition. And it contains the description, Reach for the Stars this year. Students will demonstrate an understanding and knowledge of the properties and evolution of stars, focusing on star formation regions and supernova remnants, so both ends of the evolutionary scale for stars, and looking at the observations of those two specific types of stellar evolution across the electromagnetic spectrum. Each team may bring 2 pieces of 8.5 by 11 paper, 2-sided, filled in with information in any form, from any source, and they can use those notes for both parts of the competition, because there's a part 1 and a part 2. They can use the notes for both parts. Bear in mind, sometimes states or regions or invitationals have the use of a star lab, a planetarium, or they actually have a planetarium locally that they can utilize for this event. And it is up to you as a state, as a event supervisor, to find out if that is a venue for your competition that you're going to be constructing the event for, and because it would be you would construct it a little bit differently, and the teams will have to bring clipboards and red lights into the competition if you're going to do it in that kind of a venue. The part 1 is on constellation star and deep sky object identification. Part 2 is on stellar evolution, with the usual content that was in the 2013 event: stellar evolution, stellar classification, observing in all parts of the electromagnetic spectrum, the relationship between temperature, luminosity, and radius. And also this year, which is new from 2013, are the magnitude and luminosity scales, the distance modulus, and the inverse square law. So part 1 lists the constellations, stars, and deep sky objects, and in 2013, that part 1, the questions were about 35% of the event was on the constellation, star, and deep sky object identification part. There were 100 questions, and 35 of them were on part 1, associated with part 1. And on here, we have the constellations underlined. The major stars in the constellations are bolded, and the deep sky objects are italicized. Part 2, last year, again, the content that I described to you that's in the event description, That was 65%, 65 questions about the stellar evolution part of it. So for the room needs for this event, you needed a room with tables or a lecture room with large table space. The teams, they've got their 2 pages of notes with them, which does not occupy very much space, but there's a lot of charts and graphs and image sets that go along with this, and they want to be able to spread them out and look at everything while they're answering these questions. So you want them to have enough table space so that they can adequately spread out and work comfortably together. There should be 2 to 3 helpers to help you proctor, keep track of time. If anybody has any question, you want to answer those in a timely manner. Pass out the materials before the event, collect them after the event. If you have knowledgeable proctors or scorers, that's a definite advantage. And if you do have people that are knowledgeable, you might want to go over the event with them before it begins, so they have an understanding of the kinds of questions and what the answers are, so they can answer questions appropriately if they are asked. And there's no usually any equipment, though sometimes people have run this event as a PowerPoint slideshow where they have had each PowerPoint up for X amount of minutes while they answer the questions in front of them. Sometimes it's been used just as part of the event, that they will have animations or images up there, GIFs maybe. And if you do that, just make sure that all of your technology is working and you've got everything that you need and the setup you need. You have to be familiar with the room that you've been given to run your event in to make sure everything is there. And you need time to set up in the room also. Usually at Nationals we have everything. We decide where the teams are going to be sitting, and we put the events upside down where we want them to sit before they come into the room, so that when after about 2 minutes worth of instruction, they can turn them over and begin their event. You want to make sure that you do everything in a really timely fashion, because once they leave your event, they're hoofing it across campus or around the school to their next event. It might be quite a ways away. Sometimes at Nationals it's quite a ways away. So you do not want to make them late for their next event. So you need to start and finish them in a very timely manner.